In south-central Utah, a place exists with a name that sparks curiosity: Capitol Reef National Park. Think about it. Capitol suggests grandeur, maybe white domes like legislative buildings. Reef usually means a barrier in the ocean. So, what does a reef mean in a high desert landscape, and why is it named after a Capitol building? The park's defining feature, the reason it exists, is a colossal geological anomaly called the water pocket fold. Imagine a wrinkle in the Earth's crust, nearly 100 miles long, where layers of rock folded over themselves like an S shape. This happened about 65 million years ago, likely tied to the same forces that built the Rocky Mountains. Over eons, erosion carved this fold, exposing brilliant layers of sandstone, shale, and other rock, creating cliffs, canyons, and domes. It's the largest exposed monocline in North America. Before any explorers or settlers arrived, people called the Fremont culture lived near the Fremont River around the year 1000. They were farmers, irrigating corn and squash, storing their harvest in stone granaries built partly from black basalt boulders. By the 13th century, they were gone, perhaps due to a long drought. Years later, Paiutes moved into the area. They called the abandoned granaries Moki huts, believing they were homes for tiny people. Following the American Civil War, Mormon leaders in Salt Lake City sought remote spots for settlements. By the 1880s, Mormon pioneers settled the Fremont River Valley, founding communities like Junction, which they later renamed Fruita. Fruita was the most successful, supported by the river's fertile floodplain, but even it sustained no more than 10 families at its peak. They farmed, extracted lime from limestone, and even mined uranium early in the 20th century, with the Euler mine beginning in 1904. The community eventually faded, though the National Park Service later restored some buildings. The push to protect this area really began in the 1920s. Local men, Ephraim P. Pechtal and his brother-in-law Joseph S. Hickman, saw the unique beauty and wanted others to experience it. They started promoting the area, calling it Wayne Wonderland. They formed clubs, raised money to hire a photographer, and sent stories to newspapers. Hickman even got elected to the state legislature to help the cause. Pechtal continued the effort, eventually writing directly to President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933, asking for a national monument. Federal agencies studied the area, guided by Pechtal himself. Finally, on August 2, 1937, President Roosevelt signed Proclamation 2246, creating Capitol Reef National Monument. The initial protected area was much smaller than the park is today, just 37,711 acres. These were lean times, and the National Park Service had no funds specifically for Capitol Reef. It would be years before the first rangers were assigned. Administration of the new monument initially fell under Zion National Park. Some early work, like building a ranger cabin and a bridge, was done by the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Works Progress Administration. Charles Kelly, a local historian, volunteered to watch over the monument for the NPS. He worked without pay until 1950, when he became the first official superintendent. Kelly faced challenges, including the controversial decision by the NPS to allow uranium prospecting in the monument during the 1950s, a move he strongly opposed. Visitation grew significantly after the paved State Route 24 was completed through the Fremont River Canyon in 1962, replacing an old, often washed-out dirt road. During the 1960s, new facilities were built as part of the nationwide Mission 66 program, including a visitor center and campground. The NPS also began purchasing private lands in areas like Fruita. Then, in 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson greatly expanded the monument, adding over 215,000 acres. This was met with local controversy, partly because the Park Service lacked staff to manage the larger area. The expansion sparked debate in Congress, leading to different proposals for a national park. Bills debated acreage and grazing rights. This ultimately resulted in Public Law 92-207, signed by President Richard Nixon on December 18, 1971. The law officially established Capitol Reef National Park with its current boundaries and a phase-out period for grazing. Today, visitors can explore much of the park's core from the comfort of their vehicle. The scenic drive winds right through the heart of the water pocket fold, passing many key geologic features and historical sites like Fruita. For those wanting to venture further, unpaved roads like Nottam Bullfrog Road traverse the eastern side of the fold, and Cathedral Road takes you north into Cathedral Valley, past formations like the Temples of the Sun and Moon. Hiking offers a more intimate experience with the landscape. Trails range from easy strolls along the Fremont River to strenuous climbs offering panoramic views. The popular Hickman Bridge Trail is a moderate 2-mile round trip leading to a beautiful natural bridge. For a tougher challenge, the Cassidy Arch Trail climbs steeply to an overlook high above the Grand Wash. Longer, more remote trails like Halls Creek Narrows require backcountry permits and can take multiple days. For the truly adventurous, canyoneering is a growing activity. This involves navigating narrow slot canyons, often requiring rappelling and sometimes swimming. Park permits are required, and planning is crucial due to the extreme danger of flash floods and heat exhaustion. One popular route, Cassidy Arch Canyon, takes you right below the famous arch, involving 8 rappels, the first dropping an impressive 140 feet. Capitol Reef holds another distinction. It's a gold-tier dark sky park. Its remote location, and the park service's efforts to minimize artificial light, make it an exceptional place for stargazing. On clear nights, away from city lights, the Milky Way stretches across the sky in breathtaking detail, offering a view of the cosmos rarely seen elsewhere.